Hey viewers, welcome back to Rich King Coaching YouTube channel, where this series is all about some fault finding and problem solving for what I believe are some very common situations and scenarios that can exist in the amateur game but also the professional game. So this one is what everyone has probably experienced in different times. You've set up a fantastic rally, you've put loads of pressure on your opponent in the back of the court, and then the ball comes into the middle or they hit a loose shot and your opportunity is on to take the volley and take it in short and attack, and you make a mistake, you mess it up, and actually the poor quality of the shot is almost a surprise to you, therefore creating a poor reaction and therefore a poor outcome when actually you did all the hard work in the first place. Am I ringing a few bells to some of you back home? Maybe. Now, what is the scenario that exists here? How do we solve it? So I've just explained the scenario. What is one of the biggest faults here? So first of all, it's going to start with your tee position and your mental focus and alertness on the tee, okay? Now, just be aware when you're playing and you're applying a pressure to your opponent, if you're managing to stay on top of them, and in this situation you've got them deep in the back of the court, maybe you're not feeling the same amount of pressure coming back at you. So firstly, from a mental and physical perspective, I know people, and I've probably even had that myself in play, where you kind of go from this needing to be really alert, active person because your opponent's putting you under loads of pressure, and if you're not at the high enough intensity or don't have enough, those fast muscle fibers twitching at the right rate, you're not going to be able to respond. But what happens when the pressure goes off? Does your tee position suddenly then become more relaxed and complacent? And in how I would describe it, it would be more passive state. So number one, keep your mindset and your physical state on the tee alert and focused and ready for that loose ball opportunity. Yeah, when that loose ball is created, it's mostly because of your hard work and how you've created the rally. So don't use that for a moment to switch off, take a little breath. You know, the work's not finished. Yeah, you have to stay alert and ready, because what can happen a lot is that this ball can come off the sidewall, it can kick back into the middle like this, or it can come right at your body. And what is number two in the reaction is, what do your feet do? It's all about footwork. So as a ball comes into your body here, you've got to be able to adjust your feet. Always expect the unexpected. Here it is off the sidewalk. Oh, adjust my feet there. Okay, this one's coming in at my body. So number one, in terms of reaction and movement, it has to come from your footwork. So therefore, you cannot have a passive state. I'll pick the ball up here. Also show you, I appreciate I get the luxury of knowing where I hit the ball in this situation, but you can see the amount of movement I have to take. This one's coming off here. Okay, adjust there. Okay, into my body, I can move backwards. Backwards movement is just as effective. Coming off at an awkward angle, ready to adjust, okay? So you've got to get your footwork nice and ready, keeping that alert state, not a passive state, and being flat-footed. And then you've also got to have the eagerness in your own racket to actually lift it up and volley and be prepared. So you see here now, when my feet react, my racket is also reacting at the same time by lifting it up. Okay, here's one coming back into the body and adjust. All right? So keep your state nice and active. Do not switch off. The job is not done. Once the pressure is easing off from the opponent, it is the moment that you should seize and take opportunity of. So there's the mental and physical state. How can we put this into practice? Well, one thing I love giving to people is the butterfly routine, okay? The figure of 8 exercise, where you're like this. So you're going from corner to corner. Now you see here, I'm standing very still with my feet, and I'll tell you what, there's some top players that just stand here and hit like this. There's nothing wrong with that in terms of your developing swing rhythm and you've got a stable base. But how do we make this more effective? Well, we get more agile and active with our feet at the same time. See here now my feet adjusting and moving. And then I can start to add in alternative shots. So here, get my body round from that straight ball and play the drop shot. So I'm actually now developing that response needed can even hit some into my body and keep the ball straight. You know, now I've got the rhythm and connection between my feet and my racket. And then you can experiment with that, and you can see the minute I go for that straight volley, how much I'm turning my body and getting it round into that nice sideways position. That's a great exercise to practice developing the response to these looser, wilder, more random balls. It's also a good opportunity to even practice that with coaches or with players, where you're having some feeds where the balls are just coming in all sorts of random areas and keeping it relative to what exists in a game, not so structured, and doesn't keep you within the box. It helps you build more responses to the more random aspects which exist within a squash match. All right, if you want any more advice on that, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, good luck with practicing back at home and at your clubs. Thank you, goodbye.